Hello, everyone. I hope you are all having a fantastic day as you're watching this. I know I said this would be more of a personal channel for me moving forward, but that doesn't also mean that we're still going to do some WWE content from time to time. And we just witnessed SummerSlam weekend in the big 2026. I feel like we got to talk about it. So, night one kicked off, right? This weekend. Which shout out again to RJ Painter on YouTube, one of my best friends. He was able to collab with me on my channel for both nights this weekend, and I just got to salute to him. I'm glad I was able to reach out to him, get him on the show here. Check out our stream from Clash in Italy that I did on his channel when we watched Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, and other matches. We have so much fun with each other, talking, playing games, whatever it may be. And then even the man, shout out to him, a proud mod in my Discord server, as well as a collaborative person here on my YouTube channel. We watched SummerSlam last night, and we also chatted about it on Saturday. So as you guys are seeing this, I'm recording this like Monday morning, but it'll probably be out there like Monday evening. And like I said, I just want to go over all of my thoughts for SummerSlam. This is my full night one and night two review. So as I was saying, right, Liv Morgan versus Io Sky, the Women's World Championship match that kicked it all off. Now, I really didn't expect nothing of this match. If y'all remember, we had like 3 or 4 women's matches on WrestleMania earlier this year, and none of them even exceeded 10 minutes, right? So like I had little to no expectations going into this, but they actually delivered a pretty good match that I was really entertained by. I wish there was no Judgment Day interference involved to begin with, but you knew it was going to happen. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, they all start swarming out, trying to help. They're all there to help Liv out, and Io Sky's basically outnumbered, right? So, but I still had Io Sky winning this mainly because of what we saw in Night of Champions. She beat Liv Morgan in the finals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. She went on to challenge Liv Morgan, and I thought, well, that's probably the end of Liv Morgan's title reign. Me not thinking, well, oh, this is her first title defense. I don't know if she'll lose it, but here we are. I originally did predict Io Sky going into this, and I'm a little upset that Liv Morgan is still our champion because, let's be honest, her reign kind of sucks. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I like Liv Morgan as a wrestler and as a talent, don't get me wrong, but she just really needs to start defending that title more. We're probably going to have to wait another 8 months to see her put the Women's World Championship online. I'm just not too thrilled about that, but y'all can let me know what you think down below in the comments regarding all that. We also had the second match of the night following that, which was a 6-man tag team bloodline match, I'll just say. You had Jacob Fatu, Jay, and Jimmy Uso from the Bloodline taking on the team of LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys. There were 2 6-man tag team matches on this show. I'm going to get to the women's one later. I wasn't too thrilled about either one of them going into this, to be honest. Again, little to no expectations, but the Bloodline match actually wasn't too bad. According to Wikipedia, it was only like 11 minutes long, and surprisingly, there weren't many matches that were even longer than that, so I'm okay with it. Again, Solo Sikoa, don't change, because people were saying Solo was going to turn on the Royce Keys and LA Knight and join the Bloodline. At first, I thought he was going to turn on the Bloodline, but he was going to join the Bloodline again, I thought. But no, it turns out he is perfect the way he is. Like, don't do whatever you're doing with Solo right now, keep it up, because I'm loving it. The way he like mocks everybody he did the whole yeet thing during the match, and I was laughing my butt off, let me tell you. It was awesome. I just gotta say, I'm very surprised that the Bloodline lost this match, because I figured this match was going to be to make Jacob Fatu and the Usos look really strong in this, but turns out they actually, I think it was Jey Uso, if I'm not mistaken, took the pin to LA Knight, which I was a little surprised by that. So good for Team LA Knight. I did not see that coming, but yeah, great match, exceeding my expectations again, honestly. Then you had Gunther versus Nick Aldis. This was his first in-career match. I know he's been a former champion in TNA and NWA, but this was Nick Aldis' first time in a WWE ring as an active competitor. Not as a general manager, but as an actual wrestler. And I gotta say, he impressed me again. I feel like I'm saying the same stuff over and over again with this, but it really did exceed my expectations. I knew Gunther was a good wrestler, but going into this, Nick Aldis, I had no idea what to expect from the guy. So coming in and seeing his like type of offense and his skill level work so well with what Gunther already does in the ring, like them two meshed so well together, in my opinion. Granted, the match wasn't nothing to be amazed by. I don't think, like, it wasn't like a 5-star classic or nothing like that, but it was good though. It was solid. And that's all you can really ask for from for the mid card of night one, right? For SummerSlam. Like it was literally like middle of the card. I don't know if Triple H was planning on it being as good of a match as it really was, but yeah, I really did enjoy my time watching this, getting to see Nick Aldis for the first time, because I purposefully avoided his prior matches just to save myself and see like, okay, I'll get to a first-hand experience, and I gotta say I really did enjoy it. Then we have the match I was actually more looking forward to. You had Fatal Influence versus the Bella Twins and Paige. Now, for this one, I pretty much called it down the middle. I said that Fatal Influence was going to win, right? And then I figured the Bella Twins were going to turn on Paige because, like, this isn't the first time now. Like, y'all should know Nikki Bella comes back. Like, I feel like she's got a good reason for being here, teaming up with Paige. It just seems a little odd. And what do you know? Paige gets backstabbed. I called it. The only bad thing I will say coming out of this match, though, is I really hope Brie Bella is not seriously injured. Please recover, because I heard on the post show that she did indeed get injured, so I'm really hoping for a speedy recovery for Brie Bella. Get back soon. Then for the co-main event night one, you had CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. This right here is about the closest thing that I got to it. I don't got the official gold title, but I got the blue one that Roman Reigns used to hold back in the day. So anyway, honestly, I was really looking forward to this match. I did have high expectations for it, and maybe I shouldn't have. I know a lot of people came out of this and was like they really enjoyed it, which is cool, but I felt like it was going to be a little bit of a barn burner, whereas this match was 30 minutes. It was long. It was the longest match of the night, but the first half of it was just, honestly, it's normal for WWE, but the first half of the match was just very slow, a lot of grapple, like chain lock holds, stuff like that. Like, I don't know, it was just a little boring, and then it really kicked up in the second half. Like, you had CM Punk delivering a diving elbow drop to the announce table on Cody that completely missed the mark. Cody hitting a Cody cutter that, like, he literally almost destroyed Charles Robinson with that cutter. Oh my goodness. Because he don't know how to take a cutter. And then of course, the long-awaited return of Randy Orton. Like, that was the part that actually made me jump out of my seat. I was like, oh, shoot, Randy's back. Like, that was the only part of the match that I actually enjoyed. And it wasn't even the fact that CM Punk won. I was just excited to see Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, But, I mean, I guess CM Punk did his part. He played it well. And I'm interested to see a future thing between CM Punk and Kevin Owens, which we're going to get to later. Spoilers ahead if you haven't already seen SummerSlam. I apologize. And then the main event of night one, of course. You have Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. Originally, this wasn't advertised to be the main event. I thought Punk and Cody was going to be the true main event because it was the longest match, like I said. But no, the Hell in a Cell match closed the show, which I loved to see that. And honestly, to keep it real with you guys, this match was a little underwhelming. For the fact that they said a Hell in a Cell match, I was anticipating, like, maybe them breaking the door down, them climbing up top, somebody getting thrown off. Like, I thought all these crazy things were going to happen. But knowing Brock Lesnar was, like, almost, 50 years old now, I should have seen that coming. The match was actually almost 12 minutes long. It was good time limit-wise, I'll give it that. But, I don't know, it felt basically like a little more drawn-out version of the WrestleMania match to me. With a cell around the ring. That's really all I can do. Honestly, it was my favorite match of the night. I will say that. I really enjoyed what I saw. I just wish they could have went on a little longer. If Brock was a little younger, or if Obafemi could have taken him to his limit, which he did. But I don't know. I wish I could have. I loved what I saw, but I just wish they did even more. All I wanted was to see as much as humanly possible. I don't know if you can blame me on that or not. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's just me. But I'm not gonna lie, I expected a little more out of that, and a little disappointed to end the night, but I'm not upset with the ending, because the actual way the match turned out was literally perfect. Obafemi got the salute from Brock Lesnar and everything. Now the question is, is Brock Lesnar actually going to retire for good this time, or is he going to be back next year? I don't know. I feel like he's going to come back in Saudi, but we'll see. Whether it might not be Crown Jewel, but maybe WrestleMania next year, I'm thinking. Maybe they'll do another dream match or something. But yeah, I'm so happy that Brock Lesnar put over Obafemi just like he deserves, because that was a very sweet, emotional ending for both of them. I know Obafemi was trying not to cry a little bit there at the end. He He was a little emotional, I noticed. But then, as we go into night 2 of SummerSlam, you had what we all expected to be a one-on-one match, number one contender for the Undisputed WWE Championship, right? This thing right here. We'll just say, don't mind the fact that it's the Universal title. But anyway, it was supposed to be Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn, right? And I was like, okay, well, I want my Fat Boy Finn Balor to win going into this. I was like, nothing against Sami Zayn. He's the last real good guy, ride or die, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I've always been a Finn Balor ride or die since 2016 SummerSlam. 10 years in the making, like, get a shot at this because you deserve it. And it turns out that then Nick Aldis comes out and he announces someone's getting added to the match. And I was like, what's going on here? And then sure enough, the freaking ring general, his opponent from the night before, Gunther, comes out and tries to ruin everything. I'm like, oh my God, Gunther's going to win this. We're so screwed. We're so cooked. But now, the saving grace of the whole night, what honestly was probably my favorite moment of the night, or at least there were two favorite moments I had from night 2, but this one in particular that literally started off the show hot and got the crowd rolling. Kevin Owens, out of nowhere, Fight Owens Fight, yes, you heard that correctly, after a year and a half, showed up and made his return. I was like, what? Like, I was so happy to see Kevin Owens. I thought he was going to show up and cost Cody Rhodes the match that he had against CM Punk, but no, it turns out he's actually going to fight CM Punk now because he ends up going on to win that Fatal 4-Way match, his return match. And I was, let me just say, I was so beyond words. I was happy. I was ecstatic. I was loving every single bit of it. The night started off so good, and I was ready for what was to come next. Then you had Trick Williams defending the United States Championship against Baron Corbin. Of course, Little Yachty's got to be at ringside, but why do they got to give him his own entrance? Like, he literally got his own Titantron and theme song with it, and he introed Trick. The best part about it, which you can only hear if you have WWE Radio on Sirius XM, was honestly Booker T doing the ad-libs for Trick's entrance. That was the only good part about it, in my opinion. But at least at the end, I was happy that Baron Corbin finally won his return match in the WWE, which now makes him the new United States champion. I am so happy for Baron Corbin. I used to never really be a big fan of the guy, but I think ever since seeing him back in the WWE, I realized how hard he worked just to get there. And I gotta respect it. The journey to get back and him winning the title sucks for my boy Matt Cardona. There's nowhere to be found. But speaking of Matt Cardona, his wife Chelsea Green is in the next match. You had Chelsea Green versus Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill versus Lash Legend versus Tiffany Stratton, the Women's United States Champion. Just a quick thought there. Tiffany Stratton being the Women's United States Champion, why is she even in this ladder match to determine the main champion? I just don't get that. She could have literally defended the title against Blake Monroe or something, like, besides this, because I don't know. They could have had JCJ in the ladder match, but then again, that Influence tag was pretty good, so I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me. I love Tiffany Stratton, but I was rooting against her to win this, because I do not want to see a double champion. For those of you who've watched the channel, I don't really like the whole double champion concept. Title for title matches, all that, I'm not a fan of it. But anyway, the safe play, obviously going into this, I think would have been Charlotte Flair winning. That's totally what I thought WWE was going to do, because it's like, Charlotte Flair's there, you give her a title. That's pretty much the Vince McMahon way of doing things, I guess, right? That he always went with the safe route a lot of the time. But no, it actually turns out that they did the unthinkable and had Chelsea Green somehow win this match. I was not expecting that at all. I'm so happy for her. I have no words. And you know what the best part about it was, too? She even, on the post-show, I believe it was, went on to credit Michael Hayes for winning the match, who, if I'm not mistaken, literally said she would never do it. So, God, never change again, Chelsea Green. Kevin Owens, Chelsea Green, Solo Sikoa, they're the takeaway superstars for me coming out of SummerSlam. I think that they showed why they're here in the WWE. Never let them go, please. Now, the only thing with Chelsea Green is I would be even more surprised if she actually is able to defeat Rhea Ripley when she comes back. Like, there's no way, right? But at least give her this opportunity. As the interim women's champion, can you technically say that Chelsea Green is now a world champion by this? I guess so, and I'm so cool with that. I'm so okay with it, because I used to not be a big fan of Chelsea either, but she's really grown on me ever since the Secret Harvest stuff and then this Tiffany Stratton partnership lately, because if y'all know me, I like Tiffany Stratton, so of course I'm going to like Chelsea Green being with her. Like, come on. Like, it was great. Then the shortest match of the weekend, which honestly isn't going to be a surprise to any of y'all, really. It isn't that shocking. It was Danhausen versus Straight Dom Mysterio. human money's on a pole match. Can you imagine a pole match that isn't actually booked by Vince Russo for once? Well, anyway, it turns out that they had a bag in the corner, which was considered their pole, was like the ring post. They basically just hooked it up there on a little baggie and called it human money's on a pole. It was cool, but a lot of interference happened. Dom had JD McDonough from the Judgment Day helping him, as I call him, JD McDonough. And then Danhausen had his meanie Housens, his little tiny Housens. I don't know how to say that. But anyway, that was... I don't know what y'all call that, but for me, that... Some little tiny people wrestling, that is entertaining. I'm sorry. I can't help it. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. I know it might not be everyone's cup of tea, I'm aware, but it was my cup of tea, I guess. I enjoyed it. Shout out to it, and it wasn't like a match per se, because it wasn't pinfall or submission, right? It wasn't an actual technical wrestling match like you would consider. It was okay. I probably wouldn't give it a high rating. Like it's not anything crazy, but I'll just say my entertainment level was through the roof. It was fun. It was funny, which made it fun to watch. I got to give it to it. Then what was honestly the most technical match of the night, which I expected nothing less, Chad Gable versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. Now this one I gotta say was honestly a nice technical wrestling match. You have like one of the best technicians in modern day versus one of the best luchadors in current wrestling right now, and it was just fun to see them go back and forth. You had Penta hitting these Mexican controls, like he hit one off the apron. I thought Chad Gable was dead for a second. Then you had Chad Gable hitting Penta with the ankle lock a bunch of times until he finally rocked it in one last time, and he finished the story. It's about dang time that Chad Gable finally got his moment after like 2 years, actually maybe 3. You know what's funny is the last Raw I went to was Chad Gable was going through for the IC title, that Monday Night Raw where Chad Gable's kids were crying in the front row. I was there, and I got to experience the heartbreak that Chad Gable felt first person, like, so I felt bad for the guy. And then they made him turn heel on Sami Zayn not long after he won it, and then he still couldn't beat him for the title. They ended up, I think, going with Braun Breaker, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago at that SummerSlam show. And I just felt bad for Gable in that moment because he deserved it. He's been doing it for like 10 years now, working his butt off, and he finally did it. He finally was able to defeat Penta. Now, my only concern is I don't know how long Dewey is willing to let him hold the championship. Penta held it for, I believe, 153 days or something like that, because he's had it since the Raw Domination Chamber when he beat Dom for it, right? I just don't know if they're going to have Gable hold it all the way till WrestleMania, or if he's going to drop it before then, possibly at the Rumble. That's my only concern, is how will they book Chad Gable as champion? Not that I think he won't be good at it, because if they give him something, he can run with it. Like, give him the ball and he can do something with that. But I just hope that he gets booked well moving forward. I'm excited for Monday Night Raw happening later tonight. We're going to see a potential big return. I'm not going to say who in case y'all aren't aware, but just know you might want to stay tuned into Raw tonight if you want to see someone in particular. So definitely check it out if you hadn't already. Then the main event of the evening, the main event of the weekend, I should say, Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. The championship that Seth Rollins never lost, and they're fighting for the title where Roman Reigns has never beat Seth Rollins in a one-on-one title match at a PLE clean like he did here. Spoiler alert, Roman Reigns won. All right, acknowledge your World Heavyweight Champion. That is why he held this title for over 1,316 days when he had it. Now he's held that World Heavyweight Championship since being CM Punk since WrestleMania, and I don't see him dropping it anytime soon, honestly. Bet my words, he's going to hold it until at least WrestleMania 43, maybe even longer. I could see him losing it to Obafemi if he wins something, like if he is the number one contender. Maybe someone like a Braun Breaker, if they want to finally give him that push, maybe he gets a shot at Roman. But other than that, I don't think, unless it's one of those two guys, I really don't see Roman Reigns dropping this title anytime soon. You're going to see the tribal chief, the head of the table. You're gonna have to suck up and see him a lot moving forward. I heard that they just announced a bunch of Raw dates for those of you who hate Roman. So yeah, have fun with that. And I'm not a big Roman fan either. I'll admit it. I'm a Cena guy, as my shirt says. But I guess we'll just have to see who he puts the title on the line against. His Jacob Fatu feud has been fun. The Seth Rollins stuff was cool. So I'm really looking forward to seeing who else Roman Reigns runs across, going into WrestleMania, that is. And then you also got to think what's next for Seth Rollins, because at the end of the match, there was a bit of an emotional moment where Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins actually hugged each other, accepted that, all right, this is the end of the Shield. This is I think the final true farewell until Dean Ambrose somehow comes back to WWE. If that does ever happen, who knows at this point? He seems like he's enjoying his time in AEW. He's probably gonna be there for at least another year or two. And I don't know if he'll ever come back, but if he does, put ones up in the air, because I think the Shield might officially be done for good this time. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, like I said, they did the fist bump for the Shield at the end, and they had it was emotional a little bit. I didn't like tear up or nothing, but I was just thinking back to when Dean Ambrose was still with the Shield, and they put the Hounds of Justice mask of Seth Rollins. He actually came out to the Shield music, which was funny, for part of his entrance there, and he had the Shield mask on. They put it in the middle of the ring, and I think that was to symbolize in a way Dean Ambrose sort of being there, like his ghost, if you will. I know he wasn't there, but maybe in spirit. And it was just it was very emotional, to say the least. It was good. It was a 33-minute match. I think the longest one of the entire show. Go figure, right? I mean, it's Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins main event. What do you expect, right? I know a lot of people were crapping on the story and being like, well, Seth Rollins has never really been that number one guy, but to Roman Reigns, he is, because Seth Rollins never actually beat Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns never beat Seth Rollins until now. Seth Rollins was Roman Reigns' kryptonite going into this, and he finally overcame that obsession with Seth Rollins in that steel chair. They had this one unique spot in the match where Roman dropped the steel chair. He didn't hit Seth with it at all like he wanted to do previous times, and he finally grew over that obsession that people were talking about. And I know I said this before, but Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, that is the final chapter of their story, I think, for the foreseeable future. I don't think you'll see those two cross paths ever again, unless it's actually them possibly for the first time in forever, maybe even working together alongside one another. I could see Seth Rollins potentially joining Team Bloodline if they do a War Games match at Survivor Series later this year, because it is in Houston, by the way, in November. So don't forget that, because Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, maybe CM Punk, some of those guys, they're probably going to be in those War Games matches if I had to guess. So I don't know who their opponents will be, but it's just something to think about. Maybe we're going to see some unlikely alliances form and maybe some new partnerships grow, but I'm interested, though, to see it. And again, shout out to RJ and the man for joining me on my YouTube channel this week as I head out of here. I couldn't have done it without you guys, truly. You guys made part of the experience fun for me. If it was just me doing it by myself with just a chat to talk to, it might not have been as fun. But at least now I got people that I can talk to and live and have fun with. And thank you again to YouTube. I love you so much now because you were able to allow me to live out this experience and not cut off my live stream. So thank you very much for that, and I will see you all in another video. But for now, thank you and peace out.